Girlfriend is cheating on me right now at this minute. Dear Reddit, I really don't know what I should do right now. My girlfriend, 22, female of around 2 years and a few months, has been with me, 24 male since we first met at a party at university. Just 1 week after meeting her, she had already moved in with me. It was love at first sight. Around a year ago, we moved into a new apartment, which I couldn't afford by myself, and we have lived there pretty happily ever since. Skip to last Monday, Christmas. We were at her father's place with all of her family. Things were fine until we drove home. She suddenly told me that she had enough of me being mean to her. The example she gave me was that I accidentally walked into her laptop's charging cable, which is white, and which she spanned over a white carpet in a dimly lit room. I did not apologize for ripping it out of her laptop, but instead accused her why she placed the cable like that. After a few minutes, I did apologize, though. She also told me that she does not want to stop my dreams and aspirations. I would like to move to another country after I am done with university, but she does not. Then she told me that she wants a break from our relationship. I drove home and told her that being with her is my biggest goal in life and that I am sorry for having been mean to her and that I am willing to change. But she still wanted the break. That night, we still slept in the same bed, but I cried myself to sleep. I really don't think that I have been that mean to her. I think the main problem is that around 1 year ago, I got a job at university in cancer research. We are very successful at this, and we try to use a novel, highly successful approach. Because my father, who is my best friend, has cancer, I think I spent too much time on work and not with her. For the last few months, I sometimes went to university at around 8 a.m. and only came back at 11 p.m. for a week or so. She was alone at our home and probably very lonely. Anyway, Tuesday, I wanted to visit my father. My girlfriend wanted to visit her mother, she told me. Her mother is on the way to my father, so I offered to give her a ride there, but she declined. She did not come home that night and told me that she would like to sleep at her mother's place. The next day, she told me that she may not come home that night as well. I told her that is fine, and she can stay at her mom's place for as long as she likes. She did actually come home, though, and we watched a movie together, but she was distracted by her phone, which she looked at and which made her giggle from time to time. Only a few minutes ago, I found out that she did, in fact, not sleep at her mother's place, but instead went to some guy she knows from university. That night, we went to bed together, and I tried to approach her, but she distanced herself from me, so I only caressed her until she fell asleep. Now we are at what happened today. In the morning, I baked fresh buns just for her, but she told me she had a meeting with her sister and only took a few with her and left. I cleaned the house to make her feel happy when she would come home, but at around 11 p.m., I was concerned and called her mother if my girlfriend is still at her place, because she would not answer me. Her mother told me that my girlfriend has not been at her place since we both left. She told me that maybe she is at some guy's place. Let's call him L, because L and my girlfriend drank a coffee together a few weeks ago, and she thought I knew about that. Just after the call, my girlfriend actually came home. I asked her who L is, and she told me that she actually slept at his place last Monday. She only packed a brush and some other things and then wanted to leave again. I asked her where she wanted to go now and if they had been intimate together, and she told me no and that she would go to her father's place now. I told her if she leaves, then it is over. I still remember the dead eyes she had. She did not care at all. It felt like all we have been through together suddenly did not matter to her. She just took her stuff and left. A minute later, I wanted to run after her, but she was already gone. I just don't know what to do now. I really loved her a lot. I cannot believe that this happened. I feel like my entire world falls apart. What should I do when she inadvertently comes back? We share an apartment together after all, and most of the stuff here is hers. I neglected all my friends to only be with her. I feel like this is all my fault because I did not give her enough affection. I already told her that I will reduce my workload because I just finished my research. But even then, I don't know if I could ever trust her again. What should I do now? And how should I behave when she comes back? Is it too late to save our relationship now? TLDR. I was working a lot for the last month. My girlfriend said she wants a break on Christmas and lied to me that she would stay at her mother's place. I called her mother and found out that my girlfriend is not there, but that my GF went to drink a coffee with some other guy a week or so ago. My GF came to our apartment a few hours ago and told me she slept at this guy's home after I asked about him. She then immediately left, presumably with him again. What should I do when my GF comes back to get her stuff again? Is there still any hope left? And now for the update. Update. During the night, I packed as much of her belongings as I could and put them in bags. I wrote to her father to please pick these up because I do not want to see his daughter again, but that I am sorry for him because he was always a nice guy. My ex girlfriend just wrote to me a few hours ago that this is all a misunderstanding. She said she was just sleeping on this guy's couch and not at her mom's place because she did not want her to worry and that she actually still cares a lot for me and would like to have a talk with me. I agreed that we should talk. I asked my mother and father if I should trust her, and both disagreed. I really want to trust her. I do not know if she is telling the truth. I have loved her very dearly, but I cannot forget the dead eyes she had when I told her that if she leaves, that she should never come back. What should I do? She will probably be here in a few minutes or hours. I do not want to break up, but I just cannot trust her currently. BTW, she also told me that she only had a coffee with this guy because they randomly met in the city while buying Christmas gifts. She also previously cheated on her old boyfriend. TLDR. My ex girlfriend wrote to me and told me she is sorry. She just wanted to have distance and did not want to tell her parents we had problems and therefore slept at her friend's place. She said she only slept on the sofa and they only drank coffee a week before because they randomly met in the city while buying gifts. She comes over in a few minutes, hours, and we will talk. Should I trust her? How can I find the truth? She also previously cheated on her old boyfriend. How should I handle this situation? Would I be the a-hole for telling my wife to show me her phone after I got an email accusing her of cheating? I, male 47, have a comfortable and fulfilling life. I have a job I truly enjoy. I live in a nice suburb and am blessed with 3 wonderful children, male 8, female 6, female 4, and a lovely wife, Emily, 45. I've always felt Emily and I were an ideal match. However, a recent email I received has deeply unsettled me and planted a seed of doubt in my mind. Emily lived in the UK between 2010 and 2015, during which time she pursued a PhD. Because she lived there so long, she developed many close friendships and has made it a point to return every couple of years to maintain those ties. This past August, she traveled to the UK for 3 weeks to attend the wedding of one of her close friends. After some consideration, we agreed that it would be best for me and the children to remain at home, as I could not take that much time away from work, and the children were unlikely to find much enjoyment in such an event. Emily departed, returned as expected, and life returned to normal for us. Last week, I received an email on my work email address. It was supposedly from the wife of Emily's friend. I'll call him Jake, male 44. According to this woman, she has a very strong reason to suspect that Jake and Emily engaged in an affair. She listed off her suspicions, noting Jake had picked Emily up from the airport, spent considerable time at her hotel, and how the two of them frequently went out to dinner alone. She even included pictures of my wife's earrings that she said she found in Jake's pockets when she was doing the laundry and pictures of a lipstick stain on his shirt. The color is one I recognize as something Emily often wears. There is some other evidence she listed off. For the sake of conciseness, I will not include them here. All this was a lot to absorb, and for a while I thought it was some sort of joke. So I tried my best to ignore it, but it kept coming back into my mind. I remember that before her trip, my wife would talk to all her friends there. I don't know if this email is influencing my memory, but I think she probably spoke with Jake the most. Additionally, I know Emily never liked Jake's wife, though I can't say why. I've never pried into Emily's phone or social media accounts before, but I feel very tempted to now. However, I know I'd feel terrible if I looked and found nothing. Also, if I start acting suspicious, wouldn't she just delete everything out of fear of being found out? I am unsure of how to move forward and would welcome any guidance on handling this. The best I can currently come up with is asking to see her phone immediately after confronting her about it so as to not give her no time to delete anything. Though part of me thinks this would upset her and potentially not even show anything. Would I be the a hole for telling my wife to show me her phone after I got an email accusing her of cheating? Edit, I forgot to include. My wife no longer has these earrings. She wasn't wearing them when she returned, and when I asked, she said she lost them. Update. A few hours after sharing my first post, I confronted Emily. She confirmed my fears. She claims she's in love with Jake and can't live a lie any longer. She still claims to love me and the kids, but says she can't stay with us any longer. According to her, she was waiting for a better time to tell me and the children. Apparently, this has been going on since March, with Jake flying out here occasionally and Emily secretly meeting him. We're getting divorced. Emily is moving to the UK soon. She confirmed that in August, in addition to the wedding, she attended a job interview and she's set to start around the new year. She's already applied for a British visa. She plans to live with Jake once she moves. As for custody, Emily is voluntarily surrendering her chance of full custody. She doesn't want to uproot the kids, so they'll stay here in Canada with me. There's a part of me that appreciates that decision, but there's also the part that is astonished at how easily she's walking away. She wants to pay child support, but I'd rather raise my children without her financial influence. That said, the court will likely insist on support, regardless of my feelings. Emily is also seeking structured visitation rights, which, given the circumstances, will likely be granted. Based on what I've been told, the court generally leans toward arrangements that allow both parents to maintain relationships with the children, even when one is relocating to a different country. The lawyers are still working out the details, but it seems she'll have visitation during school breaks and holidays, with the possibility of virtual calls in between. I've been keeping things as amiable as possible, and the more cooperative I am, the more Emily seems to agree with my demands. We are also discussing the future of our home. Emily has expressed a desire to sell the property and divide the proceeds. While I am reluctant to part with the family home, it is unlikely I have much of a choice since it was bought during our marriage. For now, our lawyers are still working through the details, and no final decisions have been made. Given the situation, it could be a good while before we reach a resolution. In the meantime, I've been advised not to make any major financial moves. As much as I want to stay here with the children, I know selling is most likely inevitable. As of this writing, Emily is in an Airbnb and Jake has flown here to stay with her. They plan on traveling to the UK at some point in the near future. My lawyer tells me that adultery isn't grounds for special treatment when it comes to custody or property division. Therefore, it won't influence how assets are divided unless marital funds are directly involved. Emily likely used money from her personal account. Unless it can be proven she used our joint finances to fund the affair, it's unlikely this will make any difference in court. I have been in regular communication with Jake's soon-to-be ex-wife, Eleanor, primarily through email, and more recently, we've spoken over the phone a few times. Eleanor apologized, saying she felt guilty for telling me about the affair and worried that if she hadn't, maybe my marriage could have been salvaged. I reassured her that, for me, the gravity of the situation made divorce inevitable, and I'd rather not remain in the dark about something of this significance. She even sent me messages and other evidence of their relationship, but since Emily is openly admitting to the affair, it doesn't really matter in the context of the law. Eleanor has also told me a lot about Jake. Apparently, this is the third time he's cheated on her, and she's had enough. There's no chance of reconciliation this time, she says.
and he doesn't seem interested in trying. She mentioned that Jake has zero desire to raise children who are not biologically his, which explains why Emily's not fighting for custody. Eleanor's divorce will most likely be much longer and more drawn out than mine, given that both she and Jake want full custody of their children and can't agree on several other issues. I haven't had much time to process everything. These past 2 weeks have felt like a blur in every way, but one thing I can say with certainty is that I have nothing left for Emily. Not because she betrayed our marriage, but because of how easily she's walking away from our children. I never thought I could hate someone I once loved so much. It's a strange feeling. The hardest part in all of this is the children. My two youngest daughters have started asking why their mother isn't around as much anymore, and it's been very difficult trying to communicate with them about the nature of the situation. My eldest seems to understand a little more, and as a result, he has become quiet and withdrawn. I'm fortunate to have a family that has been incredibly supportive so far. My children have received numerous thoughtful letters from some of their cousins, which I've been reading to them each night. All my siblings have also sent gifts for the kids, and one of my brothers, along with his wife, drove up to visit over the past weekend. My sister in law even prepared plenty of food, some of which is still in the freezer. They also kept the children entertained while I met with my lawyer. My other siblings have also offered to come by and look after the kids whenever I need them. Beyond that, my parents have been calling daily to check in on us, and my 78-year-old mother has already made plans to stay with us for 2 weeks in November to help around the house. The collective effort of my family has made this experience much more bearable, and I'm deeply grateful for all their support. To everyone who encouraged me to speak with Emily after my last post, I'm grateful. I was tempted to ignore Eleanor's message, but it kept gnawing at me. Your advice gave me the courage to act. Emily has shown herself to be a liar, and I have no doubt that her idea of a better time was simply when it would cause the least inconvenience for her and Jake.